Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of What the Health Just Happened, where we talk about all things healthcare, community, business, and life. The goods, the bads, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights, and everything in between. We are so fortunate to have on a variety of guests way smarter than we are to share their industry and life expertise. Except today, I don't know if this gentleman's smarter than I am or not. We'll see.
We're about to find out.
I do have to thank our show sponsors, 212 Benefits. We're going to go heavy on 212 Benefits today, employee benefits, really exciting stuff.
Super.
But joining us for the second time, Danny Whites. What is your title with 212 Benefits?
It is Employee Benefits Specialist.
Employee Benefits Specialist. Does that mean you're special, or does that mean you specialize?
Well, I already
in
know
employee
that,
benefits?
but yeah, both.
You came on, what's it been, 2 years ago?
No, we're, what is it, three and a half?
I would say the show has evolved and changed. I know you and Adrian chopped it up a while ago. We got cameras in here now and stuff, but I think this is a good opportunity to talk about your role, right? The good stuff, the bad stuff, employee benefits as a whole, which I will poke fun of because I enjoy to poke fun of it, and then some other stuff along the way. How's that sound?
Good.
Okay. Where'd you go to college?
Swoop. UNF, baby.
UNF. We got a lot of UNFers in here.
Oh, yeah.
You studied, was it public health?
It was public health, yeah.
So tell us how, we were going to plug 212 a lot in this one.
Yeah.
How'd you end up here? Because I think it's an interesting story.
Yeah. It was internship. Shout out Julie Merton.
Julie.
Kind of hooked us up, and the rest is history. I mean, didn't know what I was going to do, and 212 was on a long list of internships, and she said, this would probably be a good fit for you.
I'm gonna paint my version of the story. So we have a relationship with the University of North Florida. We try to take on internships when we can, support them when we can. So Julie Merton reached out to us, and she's like, "Hey, you need to meet this guy." And you were probably 14 at the time. I don't know, 20, 21, 22.
Close enough.
And she reached out, and you were fascinated by the financial world, right? The financial space. You worked in public health, and I think this industry kind of checks a lot of those boxes. Mm-hmm. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
You came in, we had emails back and forth, but you cracked a dad joke, which I don't remember what it was.
It was, what was it? Oh, it was something about me benefiting the company.
Oh,
right?
gosh.
I mean, benefiting.
Yep, real cheesy.
Yeah.
But immediately, Adrian and I were like, yeah, we got to meet with this guy, talk with this guy. And then you came in, we had an internship set up, and I think within 30 or 60 days, we're behind the scenes like, I think we got to figure out a way to get this guy full-time
Well,
here.
kind of off the cuff here, I remember the very first time speaking with you. I had met Adrian for coffee, but it was a Teams or Zoom or whatever that we were interviewing. And part of the internship prep was we had to like go and buy our first suit and get all ready to go. I show up on camera with my suit, which didn't even fit me. And then I look in the screen, and it's Eric with his backwards hat on, the American flag in the background. Awesome. And I was like, all right, this has to come off. I mean, this is awesome.
I think that's a good representative of, our organization, what we do. There's a time to wear a suit.
Give the right Fs.
Give the right Fs,
yeah.
Correct. We'll talk about the degrees. So you've been here for how long?
3.5 years.
3.5 years, which is crazy.
Flew by.
What do you love and hate in the industry? That's a really broad question, but there's a lot of frustrations in this space, a lot of things that are nice, but what's your perspective? Employee benefits, working with companies, what's brutal, what's great?
Yeah. One thing that's great is the variety of businesses. Like there's industries like I did not know existed, in like these tiny niches with people that I meet where I'm like, what even is this? I've never heard of this.
Examples.
Yeah. So there's a great local company. They specialize in software specifically for like country clubs, and it's the software behind the scenes, and like you don't think about that kind of stuff,
Yep.
I'd say a downside is the healthcare system as a whole. Like there's a lot of issues, and that's a rabbit hole, but
yeah, we'll talk about both of those. Let's go back to unique companies, because I agree you have an opportunity to meet and talk with companies, executives, HR people, all of them. And how many times you go in somewhere like, holy cow, I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah.
Like, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, the Active Rides? Like, what does that company do?
Yeah,
I think that's just fascinating that you get to meet and talk to these organizations.
Yeah, so shout out Sally Dark Rides, local company here in Jax.
Sally Dark Rides.
You got it, yeah. And got to tour the venue. It's awesome, super cool. And what they do is they're building what's called dark rides. And that's specifically, not roller coasters, but, you kind of enter into a scene, an indoor facility, and it's interactive, and you're involved in kind of this entertainment. You might be, there's some rides where you're shooting, monsters.
Oh, you can't say
gather
shoot on the
points.
radio. I'm kidding. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
you can.
No,
not
so, but they're involved in the creation of these rides that at Six Flags or Disney or some of these theme parks.
The best analogy I can give, have you been to Disney, the Buzz Lightyear game?
No.
Oh man, everybody who's been there knows that. I know that game. That's the first one that comes to mind, but
Yeah.
it's a dark room. It's an interactive video game. Completely going off the rails again. Here we go. So pros are out in the community meeting and learning about incredible organizations. The cons of employee benefits, like
It's really the rising costs. I mean, you never want to deliver bad news, but it's inevitable sometimes where, a business is between a rock and a hard place. And it's what can we do to try to lower the costs? I mean, it's unfortunate, but
I say this often, right? Every company wants the same thing. They want the best insurance possible for the lowest cost possible. But we can't control costs.
Right.
What do you do when you're meeting with an organization? How are you communicating with them? What are you teaching them to make smarter decisions?
yeah. So, it starts with the employer and having them understand how the flow of money works within their plan. And then their employees, how are you using your health care? And the emphasis tends to be on the health insurance, and that's super important. But the foundation of it all is the health care piece. Because going back to the employer education, your health insurance dollars, your premiums, that's a lot of it has to do with the utilization, the actual care that you're seeking throughout the year. So kind of getting to the root issue.
Go
I
ahead,
got
Trey.
a question. So, what is the who's your first point of contact? Like, how does that usually go? Who are you reaching out to? Is it HR? Is it a particular person in the organization? I have no idea how that works.
You want to take a shot at I think it depends the timing, but go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, it's a tag team, really. I mean, it depends on what part of the process you're discussing. Obviously, C-suite is very involved in the decision making.
What is C-suite?
Yeah,
Chief Executive Officer,
Okay,
Chief
sorry.
Financial
All right.
C-suite. I
Hey,
love
man,
Trey. I
I'm
love
just
you, bro.
Being honest.
it's the executives, it's the main decision makers, the owners of the companies. Obviously, it's their dollars at the end of the day, right? They're the employer dollars. And then you got HR, which typically tends to be more of the day-to-day
Sure.
contacts that kind of handle the benefit management on the client side.
When you're to elaborate on that, when you're prospecting or talking to a new company, the reality is you're probably meeting with the CEO, the CFO, or someone that's a leader within human resources.
How often is that in person versus virtual? Or is it all in person?
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, local companies, as much as you can get face-to-face.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Want to.
Meet them where they are.
Yeah.
If they want virtual, you're going to
Gotcha. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
But to the counterpoint, again, this is a chance for you to elaborate when you're meeting with, once you get a group, you work with them for a while. If you're meeting with the C-suite and you get this organization as a client, you're then probably working with someone different. Who's the employee that's managing this really expensive service and product?
Sure.
So talk about like who do you love working with? What's an ideal client? Who would you like? I can't even work with them for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
which
Well,
is a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the ideal client, there's some 5-ish criteria, and it's really, ideally Northeast Florida. That's just where we are.
Yep.
Have the capacity to go beyond that, but I mean, the more local, the better. Just again, that face-to-face, more intimate, especially when it comes to open enrollment. So, Northeast Florida, less than 500 as a general statement, but even more specifically, I mean, small businesses are niche. So
Yep.
under 50 employees would probably be the bread and butter.
If you, again, to elaborate on that, if you
Yeah.
look at buckets, right? So 1,000 plus employees, that's what some would consider a large company compared to what? A 10,000 life company, that's a small business.
Yeah.
But I would say, Danny, even 212 as a whole, we say 500 and less, but like your sweet spot is probably 25 to 75 employees.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Which again,
Absolutely.
it's a completely different ball game than working with companies larger than that. What they have access to, the support they need. So if you're a company that has less than 50 employees, call Danny White 212.
Give me a shout.
What do you think companies that fit into that space, the 25 to 75, why would they reach out to you? Are they having difficult, like, do they just not currently even offer it to their employees and now they're reaching out, or are they just frustrated and they're reaching out, or?
You take your version because our answers might be the same thing or different.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say most of the time they do offer. I mean, it's not too often you have 25 to 50 that doesn't offer. When you get above 50, you have to offer.
By law?
Yeah, by law.
Okay, did not know that.
So it's more common to have, a group that doesn't offer anything less than, 10, but when you get to 25, it's not too common. So they typically offer, and the reasons they might decide it might be time for a change is really service related.
Okay.
Cost can come up for sure, and it's definitely something to talk about, but more often than not, it's typically service related.
Makes sense.
Yeah, a couple things to add to that. If you own or run an organization and you're not offering some form of employee benefits, you're going to lose employees, or you're going to miss out on good employees unless their contract, you pay more, they shop on their own. But the majority of United States citizens are insured through their company. The size of them, like who would reach out and when, they get a huge increase, and then it's all of a sudden it's urgent. Like, we got to figure this out now. And the other one is having conversations, because the differentiator, it really boils down to service. I'm not saying you can't control costs, but that's who I think would work with Danny and 212 specifically, is the personal touch, the local presence, and a partnership more than like, here's your product, we'll see you next year.
Yeah, and you can talk about pricing, but at the end of the day, and what I try to tell any prospects or clients is, happy to talk about pricing, but the underlying cause of increases is either a lack of service or a lack of education. If you can pinpoint those two, the cost portion that you want to talk about will follow.
Are costs pretty universal? I mean, like, are you really getting much cost difference amongst different groups, or is it's service really that it boils down to?
You want to take a shot at that? Because I've got my opinion.
It differs
I got to tread lightly.
It does. Okay.
212 Benjamin sponsor.
Wow.
Yeah.
It changes a lot.
The biggest thing, the reality is, it's always going to go up, which is really frustrating in any industry. Like, it doesn't matter. It's going to go up. Rarely does it go down. Now, he talks about controlling costs. We can't directly control costs, but it's the education to make more informed decisions on spending those dollars. The best example is when and when not to go to emergency room. People somehow have created health insurance is synonymous with healthcare, and they're two completely separate entities. Is that fair?
Yeah, I agree.
A couple more benefit things for you. So we're coming up on open enrollment season. What is that? What does it mean? Right? If one business owner hears this, like understanding why open enrollment matters, when you should be participating and having these conversations.
Yeah, I mean, open enrollment is the time to enroll in your health insurance. I mean, it's the one time per year that you're allowed to make any changes to your health insurance outside of specific special cases, and you miss that window, and you're not changing anything. So open enrollment is your one time. Make the changes.
Is the open enrollment different for each business? Like, so Eric's business could be October month, your business would be summer months. Is that, or is it a universal? It happens all at the same time.
For on the business side, so you have the individual marketplace. That's always in the new year, but for businesses, it could be any time. Right. Most common is January 1st. It just kind of aligns with the calendar year.
That's y'all's tax season.
Whoever
Q4,
whatever,
coming up on it too.
If anyone works or familiar with the space, whoever said January 1's the date. So the fourth quarter, October, November, December, it's a madhouse.
Okay.
Right during, typically everything should be done by Christmas. It's like, why? Let's just move this to summertime where it's not as crazy. But most businesses are probably throughout the fourth quarter.
Yep.
And those things can change. They're different across the board. You'd mentioned too the individual marketplace. We don't necessarily do that.
No.
You can have the conversations about it. So what does a good open enrollment look like? If you're an employer, what would you say if you're a CEO, like, oh yeah, that was a good open enrollment?
Yeah, I mean, it's timely. That's number one. I mean, it's pretty crazy how often decisions are rushed and open enrollment's kind of late. Then ID cards are late, your medical ID cards. So, a timely renewal is number one. And obviously a huge win if you can get it is lower rates.
Yep.
That'd be a huge win. But just having an understanding from your employees of the coverages that they're going to have this year, that's another big win. I would say those are the two biggest things: timely and employee understanding of the benefits.
Go ahead. How do companies go about educating their employees on understanding this? Like, let's say I'm the employee, I'm borderline, don't know anything. So is it training? What is it?
Number one should be your broker.
Okay.
I think. I mean, that's
okay.
Probably our main job is to educate employees. Employers, business owners, they don't really have the time to be handling the benefits side. That's something they're offering their employees, but that's not their industry. They have their own specific industry needs that they're focused on, and that's why you hire a broker, is to kind of offload that and take that off their plate.
Gotcha.
Again, you said two things. So last minute decision making. Like if you're waiting to the last minute to make a decision, we say it's not urgent until it's urgent.
Yeah.
When you delay the decision making, it makes everything sloppier. The question you ask, who should be educating them? Like you nailed it. If you're a tech company that's developing and selling a tech product, that's your specialty. That's your niche. If there's camera and editing stuff, like you're doing it, not me.
Yeah.
Right.
So the staff, employers and employees need to understand the direct line of communication to the Danny Whites. That's who should be educating. Now again, there's an HR, they have responsibilities, but that's my opinion. You should be the one that's educating, and you don't know what you don't know. If that company, if they don't reach out and request those conversations, you can, but they need to understand like you are the person, or insert name. Go ahead, Adrian, you had something?
You asked a question earlier, why would someone choose to partner with 212 Benefits? And I think that that's one huge differentiator for us working in the particular space that we do with the group sizes, is that in an office like that, the person who is over HR and is helping make these changes, make these decisions, they're often doing 101 other things because of the nature of the size of the company. So I think that's why we're a good partner for people who are in that space and size, because we strongly believe in the employee education piece. Whereas when you start to get a little bit larger, a company may have an entire department where that responsibility kind of falls on the HR team as a whole. And that's wonderful and that's great. And we can support those types of companies in a different way. But really our skill set and what we kind of drive home with all of our employees, whether they're in Danny's position or someone else's position, is that we are there to advocate and educate for that employee. And so that really makes the most sense in a smaller company.
Yep.
Yep.
That's Adrian Jansen, by the way, on the couch over there.
Yeah, if you have the title office manager, Godspeed, because that's, I mean, you're handling HR,
How many
payroll.
hats?
Yeah. It goes on accounting. Yeah. Yeah. You're the cleaning crew, I'm sure. I mean, you handle literally everything for that office. Yeah.
So this is probably the most we've ever talked about employee benefits.
I've learned a few things.
And it's so
Yeah.
fun.
We don't.
We don't talk about this all the time.
So we laugh when we started the show. What the hell just happened? It's like we're going to talk about insurance and healthcare all the time. We never really talk about either of those. But this is a great opportunity again to share your story, how you came here. You look out, let's say 5 years from now. Where do you hope to be at in this space, or is it somewhere retired on a yacht somewhere? I don't know. Like what?
I would love to be retired on a yacht somewhere at what, 30, 31?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, hopefully it's just continuing to help businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, locally here in Jax, just continuing to build the brand, build the name, and help out where I can.
We talked about ideal clients, which we can all say certain answers. Privately owned, ideally growing, right? We say they care about their employees.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's how do you quantify that? I mean, you can't really. I mean, I would say within the first 5 minutes of talking to somebody if they care about their employees. And that's such a blanket statement, but it's so true. I mean, I guess the one way you may be able to quantify it is the employer contributions. And even that isn't like a telltale sign necessarily. It's all about, obviously the companies. Yeah, right. Yeah. But what you contribute, I mean, that says a lot.
I love, God, try to say this. I love when you're here because we're like educating you, which that's, who knows what the audience is in this specific topic.
know.
If a company's covering 100% of their employees' benefit costs, that's great. However, a lot of times they can't because of the cost. So then they have to put some of the burden back on the employee. So if you're talking strictly numbers and dollars, how much are they contributing to benefits? But you said it, when you walk into an office or a building, you know what the energy's like, there are staff, whether they're sitting at a computer or in a warehouse, like, are they smiling? Who cares about their employees and creates an environment.
Yeah.
The counter side, who's a bad, I hate to say client, because you don't want to like eliminate. If there's a couple people like, oh, we'd love to work with you. It's like, oh, what's a nightmare to work with?
I mean, really just the inverse of everything that an ideal client would be. It's someone who doesn't care about their employees, which again, you can kind of tell within the first 5 minutes. I would say publicly traded. If you're a publicly traded company, that's kind of difficult to add some layers. I mean, if you're in across the country, if you're hearing this across the country, then we did a good job with our marketing, first of all.
shout out.
But
If you're in California, we're not working with you.
California, New York.
Yeah.
I mean, you go across the country, we got partners, but not us.
Yep.
Yeah.
A couple minutes here left because I think the second half too. We can talk more about benefits, but I like telling a story about who you are. What's frustrating? Like you're in sales and business development, right? And I'm going to call you a young guy because you're younger than I am. But what are something, maybe someone in your age bracket that want to go into sales production? What's hard about it? What's difficult? What do you enjoy? What do you hate?
The hardest thing is having patience, because it is an industry with such tenure, and the average demographic of everyone is not in their mid-20s. And so you're around all these people with so much experience and such a good network and everything. And you're kind of surrounded by that. So you're almost thinking you're behind, but you got to keep perspective. Like, you're in it for the long haul, and you got to have patience.
Patience is huge, right? And if you look at sales in an industry, the sales cycle in this industry is at least 6 months, right? You're not selling a widget. You're not getting a paycheck
It's not
to fill one
transactional.
event.
Yeah.
How do you feel about cold calling?
Asked me 3 years ago, and I would just go crazy. I don't mind it.
You don't?
Yeah, no, not anymore. But, as time goes on, things change. And especially, did you hear about Apple and how they're blocking what seems to be like telemarketers and selling via phones?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I
They
get
are.
10
I mean,
calls a day.
Hallelujah.
They're basically vetting phone calls now. So, like, it's getting harder. And as times change, you evolve what you do. But, I mean, when the opportunity arises, I don't mind it.
We'll go back to this too. I look at it. If someone calls my cell phone and I don't recognize the number,
don't answer.
I'm not answering.
Yeah,
the
they'll
phone.
leave a voicemail if it's important.
And I think I'm not saying cold calling is dead. It'll never go away because it's a skill set of overcoming objections, trying to, get in the door as quick as you can. But the reality is, if you call someone's cell phone and they don't recognize your number, I don't think you're answering it.
No way. I mean,
Yeah.
you got a better opportunity reaching out via social media,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
most likely. Honestly, seriously. Yes.
Again,
works for me.
LinkedIn.
the world has changed. I especially in sales, but
It's a big networking event, LinkedIn.
Yep.
I mean,
Good way to put it.
we got a minute till the commercial break. Any shout outs? Because I do think second half we're going to hit probably more personal stuff too. But also shout out to Daily Dose with Danny. I love that coffee
Yeah,
mug.
we got the mug.
Danny puts out some great little quick hits educating in this space
Gotta
and some
start
other
that
fun
up
stuff.
again.
But any shout outs, anyone you want to say hi to?
well,
Hi,
of
Mom.
course, my lovely wife, Avery. Shout out.
That a boy.
Got to do her first.
Yep.
Family.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
That's what we never know who's going to listen, but your family's going to listen. So make
Yeah,
sure you
right.
shout out to
Yeah,
him.
I'll be
His wife's
sending them
wonderful.
this.
We love
yeah.
her.
And Jesus.
And Jesus.
And
I think we
Jesus.
could talk about that a little bit the second half too. Danny White with 212 Benefits. That's what the hell just happened. Welcome back to the second half of What the Hell Just Happened. If you're catching this here on the radio show and you missed the first half, good news is you can catch the full episode under your favorite podcast platform or YouTube under What the Hell Just Happened. We got Danny White with 212 Benefits. 212 Benefits does fund this show. Unless some of you are looking to sponsor a show, we'd be happy to take your money. First half, a lot about employee benefits, organizations from both an employer and an employee perspective. We may hit some more, but I think it's important to tell a little story about you.
Oh.
Are you familiar with the show?
Oh,
What
yeah.
the hell just happened? So you know healthy or not healthy?
Well, I'm ready.
Healthy or not healthy breeding dogs.
Healthy.
Healthy?
If done ethically.
Healthy or not healthy having cats as pets.
Both healthy and not
It
healthy.
is not healthy. It is not healthy. Healthy or not healthy using LinkedIn for business development.
Very healthy.
Very healthy.
Very healthy.
Healthy or not healthy going to church every Sunday.
Very, very healthy.
I think it's worth diving in there. I know you're a man of faith. We'll talk. Healthy or not healthy tattoos.
Healthy.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Healthy or not healthy, the remarkable.
Very healthy.
I'm gonna.
A lot of healthy this round, but yes.
That was a lot of healthy. Now I'm trying to think of something unhealthy.
something not healthy.
We'll have plenty of those. I do like this is not a plug for Remarkable. We're not sponsored. We have no ties, but I laugh. How old are you?
26.
If you look at a tool that you've purchased or got through the company, what's something that has changed your productivity?
Remarkable.
We have. If you're not familiar with
I'm
this,
not. What the heck is this thing?
they're not cheap.
It's
I really think
What's not cheap? $500.
It's like $700.
Yes.
Okay. All
But
right,
again,
fair enough.
I had stacks of notebooks, like a personal one, a journal one, a creative one, a work one. It's essentially, it's not an iPad, but our entire company ended up buying these.
Wow.
How do you use it, right? You can email yourself, you're taking notes, but it's a one device. Like tell younger professionals or older why that's such a great tool.
Yeah, honestly, it's the organization it helps you with is number one. I mean, there's literally nothing you can't do. You can download PDFs, email yourself, the note-taking capabilities, just the tools in there. I mean, it's top notch.
I would say it's a cheat code, especially for very unorganized individuals,
Yeah.
but even organized individuals.
it helps.
Or just the writing, the novelty of
Dude,
writing
it
things.
feels
is so,
normal, like-
yeah, I'm looking at it right
That's
now.
the thing too. Like I'll give you this, just play with it. But when you write on it, some of those pads don't. This feels like pen and
Just
paper.
slides and feels
super
cheap.
cool.
But again, I laugh because I can't remember who got one first, but somebody got one. Then another person got one. Then Dan Forsell got one.
Yep.
Basically, our entire office has one
Yeah.
at this point. I do think at some point, like I want to gift one of these as an auction item or a
Oh, that'd be
prize.
awesome. That'd be a good prize.
Yeah. This is again, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
But
Remarkable. If you need a sponsor,
Yeah,
let
that's
us
right.
know.
That's
Shout
right.
out Remarkable.
Shout out Remarkable. What are other tools? We can talk about LinkedIn, but are there any other things like, man, this is a great tool that I use that just makes my life easier?
Chat GPT?
Yeah,
Yeah,
ChatGPT's up
that's
there.
actually a good
Sorry, I
answer.
didn't mean to.
No, that's perfect. Because I wasn't really drumming up ideas in my head. ChatGPT is a big one, and then LinkedIn.
How do you guys use it, though, in your industry, or specifically you?
Yeah,
That's a great question.
Yeah, and so you got to tread lightly because of some private health info.
Sure.
But in a general sense, you can analyze data. What used to take an hour to spreadsheet now takes 5 minutes, if that. Presentations
Really?
help you speed up on presentations. Yep. And it's remembering it's a tool. It's not taking over the job.
Sure.
I think people are smart enough to know when something is strictly ChatGPT, like beyond just like the M dash thing that people like to talk about. You can tell when something's just created and not actually made by the person.
Sure.
To elaborate, like ChatGPT is the most well-known one. Like Grok's, there's a ton of
Yep.
platforms out there. In our industry, the first thing that comes to mind is spreadsheeting. What would
yeah.
take hours, you can take information, put it in there, and it creates something in 5 minutes that would have taken hours.
Wow.
Again, is there personal health information? You can't put that stuff in
Right.
there. Maybe some people do, but you just can't for a
you
variety
really
of
shouldn't.
reasons. And then there's other softwares. You talk about presentation. Have you ever heard of Prezi?
Prezi, yeah.
That's another good one
Yeah.
too. It's just, again, where do you save time? Me, and again, chime in here, using it as a resource for creativity. Like I have a concept and an idea, and I'm like, I can't get this to make sense. You type it into one of these and it kicks it out like, oh yeah, that's really good. But
Yeah.
tweaking it, adjusting
I think it
it.
just gets you started. It's like a jump start,
yeah.
wouldn't
Correct.
you say?
Well, especially in like an industry that has been so traditional and has like there's been some change, but I just feel like it's a boring industry. Let's get that right. I mean, like
It's not sexy.
No,
It's
and so
not
you,
sexy.
you bring in a tool like ChatGPT or Grok or any of these AI tools, it can help kind of muster up ideas and spice it up a little bit because otherwise it's just so bland, you know?
Well, let's talk about LinkedIn too, because I
Yeah.
would say if you look at our industry across the United States, we say it's old, male, pale, and stale.
Pretty much.
And again, things have been done a certain way for a long time. It's male dominated. Probably I'm 42, but for years it was 50 and older. That's transitioning. We use LinkedIn a lot. 212 Benefits, you do. How do you use LinkedIn? What do you think works and doesn't? Because I think we all have different perspectives on this.
Yeah.
There's Joey smashing his face on the glass. I wish that was on camera.
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn, for most people, they're using it as just kind of a way to keep up on industry, updates. And LinkedIn is technically a professional platform, but what I'm using it for is connection. Like that's probably the biggest thing is obviously I want to connect with my industry peers and, you bounce ideas, learn, but it's a way to prospect really. And when you talk about prospecting and we talked about cold calling a little bit earlier, times are changing. And, it's very relationally driven when you do it correctly on LinkedIn. Shout out to the Noodlebergs.
Noodlebergs
On the ball. You're using it as a tool to create genuine connections with people. And seeing if there's any opportunity, if it's a good fit to work together.
So again, shout out. So On the Ball, they're based in South Florida. The Noodleberg family, they do incredible stuff. It's another tool, LinkedIn.
Sure.
How I use it is completely different than how Danny uses it. Joey Jansen just walked in, but make no mistake about it. You use it for prospecting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's not. Maybe it is for some people. It's not connect, pitch.
Right.
Check this out. It is to understand and learn more about people. We happen to post a lot more personal and silly stuff, especially me. I don't think I ever talk about work on LinkedIn, but what it does is it helps a much larger audience know who you actually are and see, like, it can come back and bite you in the butt. But, when you put yourself out on the internet, there's going to be people like, I don't like this guy for whatever reason, but it's just a much bigger audience.
To me, that's
address.
a good thing though.
Agreed.
If people are like, this guy's weird, or I don't like that he talks about this or whatever, great. Then now I know I don't want to work with you.
Yep.
It's that simple. And you find people that you like, know, and trust. And that's the people that you're going to want to work with.
We are, again, sales basics. How does somebody work with you? They have to know, like, and trust you. Know, like, and trust. I've heard that. I could throw up in the mouth. But my case in point is, how is someone gonna like and trust you if they don't even know who you are?
Yep.
So it's just another opportunity for a larger audience to know who you are. And again, sometimes it will come back and bite you in the butt. But I think those people that are like, I don't like this human, that's okay.
Yeah.
Which is tough.
And
when you put
LinkedIn
yourself
is
out
like,
there.
yeah, it's a professional platform, and you almost have two ends of the spectrum. One is strictly business. I mean, you don't even mention anything about family or anything. And then the other side, I think you can go too far. I think you
On
can
the personal side.
On the personal side,
Yeah.
I think you can share too much or go too in the weeds. And I'm somewhere in the middle. I think there's a good middle ground where that idea of knowing, liking, and trusting. I mean, you're not going to know me if you don't know about my family or my faith or the Rams. Shout out to the LA Rams. I mean,
we haven't even talked football yet.
yeah.
I love hearing you say that, because you have a good balance, I think, sharing very relevant information to the industry that needs to be put out there. I do a terrible job talking about benefits. Joey does a good balance too. This is 212 specifically. I promise you there are competitors of ours or people in our industry or not that see what we're doing and cringe and are like, I don't like them. That's okay.
Yeah.
Which is tough, because we all want it. We want everyone to like us. We want to people please. But I commend you, because I think you do a good job.
Nice.
On LinkedIn, understanding this too, when you look at metrics, I say don't chase the red. It's hard. You don't want to see how many likes, comments, all that stuff on any. Trey's rolling his eyes.
It's dumb.
It's Instagram, TikTok, insert platform. Don't chase the red, but we catch ourselves doing it. So when you put a post up, talk about, like, an example. I thought this was going to be a banger versus a complete bomb. How often does that happen?
That at least once a week. And like there's on the opposite end of the spectrum, and you have the posts that you think are like, oh my gosh, this is gonna kill. And then you got other ones, like one, to me it went viral. It was several tens of thousands of views about me for like I think it was my AirPods died at the gym. And so I had to work out without music. And that just like 70 something comments, which is an anomaly on my page. And it's like, why does something do well and something else doesn't? I mean,
Do you think the
we'll never know.
authenticity, though, that's what the people loved? Like, been there.
Again, it's every system has its own algorithm.
Yeah.
When is it posted? Who within the
True.
first hour matters, but I like that. That's why it goes back to consistency and patience. The same thing with any sales product. If you post every day or a couple times a week, 90% of them aren't going to hit.
Right.
But if one of them hits, one, you feel a little good inside because you see a lot of reds, right?
Yeah.
But then how many people are reaching out and then, part of your audience or relationships? I forgot about the AirPod one. What's an example of a post where you put it up, you're like, this is going to be awesome. And then you open it up, it's like, man, what is LinkedIn broken?
Ooh, I'm trying to think of one. Maybe I shouldn't have thought this would do well because it was industry specific, and always, the non-benefits related posts will do way better. It's just how it
More
goes.
people can
But
relate.
this one was an analogy of something called an ICRA. I won't go in the weeds, but an ICRA as a type of funding arrangement. I try to use an analogy of like offering, your staff a gift card to go buy lunch instead of catering one big lunch, and how, it might be an ICRA versus a group health policy. And I was like, oh, this analogy kills. And it just,
I'm actually,
died.
yeah, that's a great analogy,
Yeah.
right? But nobody,
No one
a lot of
cares.
people don't care.
Yeah.
And then
And-
also when was it posted?
right,
Yep.
right. But even if it had, let's say 500 impressions, one person that, maybe is a decision maker at a company and that kind of clicked for them, then it doesn't even matter, as long as someone's getting value.
Let's talk about personal relationships. I go to, like, you're forming genuine relationships on there. People, maybe they become a client, maybe they don't, but what's someone you've met through LinkedIn, whether it's virtual in person, that's a genuine relationship? They're a mentor. There's someone you like. Talk about actual relationships you've built.
Am I allowed to use names?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Well, shout out CJ Thompson at Majority Strategies.
Okay.
Met through LinkedIn, but grabbed coffee several times now, lunch
I love that
several
you asked
times,
me if
and-
you can say a name. That's your call, buddy. I don't care.
But no, just, we have a lot in common as far as our faith and family and a lot of similarities. And just, it's pretty cool that starts out as just like a virtual kind of connection on LinkedIn, has developed into what I consider a good mentorship and friendship.
What's I love that example, and I'm going to pivot to faith here in a second, because what will happen when you talk about religion and faith is some people are going to be like, oh, I don't know if I want
Yeah,
to
they
work
don't
with
want
them.
to touch that with
versus
10-foot
other
pole.
ones don't. Can you? So WW Gay, local organization here.
Yep.
Are they hypothetically a prospect? Sure, but you went to Life Work Leadership. You met. Was it this? I forgot.
Shout out Tom Smith.
Tom
Yep.
Smith. He's this. I forgot his role. CEO or
He's the president and COO.
so I would say that's another example that you met in person, then you reached out on LinkedIn, but
Yeah, and he has a great book called The 3 O'Clock Calls, which you should check out, all about life and just kind of navigating hardships with faith. Grabbed coffee several times with him as well, and it's just, the conversations, the mentorship, the wisdom, the book recommendations. I'm working on one from him. And like, just again, it kind of goes back to the very first thing you said when we first started about what's one of the best things about the industry and benefits. And it's the companies and learning about the niches that they're in, but it's also the people themselves within those organizations, the genuine connections. Maybe it doesn't lead to business, maybe it does, but you have a friend for the long haul.
That's, again, in our industry, it's tough when you work with friends in any capacity, but when it comes to benefits, if we're not the right person to work with you, like, fire us. It's the relationships that are built on the side that's what excites me the most. Is all I'm saying. Go ahead, Trey.
This is kind of off topic, but what's the longest prospect you've had that turned into a client? I know you've only, what did you say, 3.5 years, but Eric, what would be someone that...
I mean, I could tell stories on Joey's behalf who's sitting there 8 years.
I'll chime in. One was probably 6 years.
All right,
Yeah, it's persistence.
nice.
Like,
Got him.
They were a client for 9.
Okay.
so you worked 6 years to get them, then you have them for 9, and they go, like, the day you get a client is the day you're going to start losing a client. But it's that there's going to be groups that you work with that took you 3 to 5
Oh, yeah.
years to work with, and that's like anything.
I'm going to go back to something that Eric said. Don't fire us.
Oh yeah, fire us for. Yes, don't fire us. So let's again. I like to talk more and more about my faith or other people's faith if they're comfortable. How important is that in your life?
I mean, it's number one.
That's number one.
Yeah. Nothing else matters more.
So what I've talked about, I like actually talking about life work too. We're going to get Tammy on here. She's the CEO. A lot of us, maybe it's if you have kids, like somehow kids move to the top of the pyramid, then work, then marriage, right? And then faith. That needs to be flipped on its head. I believe faith needs to be first, then it's marriage if you're married, or maybe not.
Yeah.
But we have it backwards. And
Yep.
you're like, for you personally, that's the top of your
Yeah, that'll
priorities.
never change. It all should, faith, marriage, kids when we start having kids.
Cats.
And then, yeah, cats.
Not healthy.
Not healthy. There we go. There's a not healthy. Yeah.
Did you grow up in the church?
Yeah, I grew up in the Catholic Church. I was 13, 14 when I was like, I kind of want to try just non-denominational church. Check that out. I mean, one of my sisters, I got 3 older sisters. We were just kind of interested in trying something else. Mom was like, yeah, do whatever you feel like you need to do and want to do. Did and didn't look back. But yeah,
Do you, not to put you on the spot, because I don't want to talk about this, but when you're meeting with a potential new relationship or client prospect, do you lead with faith or do you let it come up organically or naturally?
a little bit of both. In the sense that I'm not outright being like, "Oh, are you a Christian?" I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Don't do
If,
that.
if you
Don't
are a
do that.
Christian,
Not
don't
healthy.
be like,
Bad,
"Are you a
bad.
Christian?"
Yeah.
That's not healthy. Yeah. But if someone's asking me how I'm doing, one of my go-to answers is that I'm blessed. I mean, small little verbiage like blessed, people tend to like associate with faith, and maybe it helps them bring it up.
Yep.
Or maybe they mention something that I heard, and then I start talking about it, and then they open up, or whatever it might be. But I mean, if it comes up organically, I'm never going to shy away. But
Yeah.
I try not to be like punching people in the face with the Bible. I think there's a happy medium there.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please don't. Please
yeah,
don't.
Don't physically
We
assault
won't grow
people,
the
but
movement that way.
that can, right? You talk about a double-edged sword. I think it's great to talk about, but if to each their own. We talk about
Yeah.
tattoos. Like, this is how. Show me your tattoos.
Yeah, I got this one, 1 Corinthians 13, 1-3. It's my number one favorite verse. I won't recite it, but it's really just the idea that, you can do all these amazing things for people, give so much money, time, but if you don't do it for the right reasons, you don't do it out of love for people, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, then it's all for nothing. So that's favorite verse. I got this one. This is Hebrew, saying it is finished. It's
Nice.
Jesus' last words on the cross, right?
What? I'm kidding.
Yeah, who knew? Spoiler alert.
Are you sure that's what it says? Though?
You know what? I was actually scared about that, and I couldn't tell you how to pronounce it in Hebrew to this day.
I love it.
Yeah, those are the two faith
And
related ones.
again, some people like tattoo. I think about when Sims Tillerson came on.
Yeah,
If you don't like tattoos and they offend you, then you're probably not going to work with Danny, and that's okay.
yeah.
What's the next tattoo?
So this is actually the first one I ever got, and that one should I flex really hard?
Oh yeah, that's
Tricep.
That's his
Most-
screenshot.
Most people know this says that's how winning is done, and that's from the Rocky movie. And my cousin, he had passed away in 2018, but he had fought this pretty rare disease for eight-ish years, and the life expectancy was only a year. And so just the faith he had, the community of people behind him in his church, his family, his friends, school. I mean, he far exceeded expectations, and ultimately, even though his earthly, presence is not here, he won.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
the
won.
legacy he left, and the people that are dealing with this disease now, they're looking at his case study as, all right, how do we even deal with this? And the doctors that were working with him, like a lot of them weren't faith based. They're agnostic or atheist or
Yep.
maybe other religions. They couldn't explain a lot of some of the MRIs and the imaging they were doing, where one imaging there would be lesions and some other issues, and then the next one a week later they're all gone. And it's just the power of prayer and the community behind them.
Again, I can assure you, there's some people that hear that and are like, "Oh, that's."
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like, no, I think it's incredible.
It's
I got
fine.
chills when you told that story. I have to do it so that we're on air and this is live, but we're gonna make some wagers right now.
Okay.
Who has
Oh, shoot.
Who has more wins at the end of the season, the Jaguars or the Rams?
This isn't just
Jaguars,
bias. it's
Jaguars,
got to be the
duh.
Rams.
Okay, so that's one wager.
Yeah.
Whoever has the most wins at the end of the season.
Yep.
Is that fair?
Rams versus Jags. Yeah.
And again, without diving too far into fantasy football, we like to talk about football often. We're going to have to pick some stats and some players
Yeah.
to wager on.
There's gonna have to be a repeat. We talked about this prior, and in Mike Evans specifically, that's gonna be a repeat
Yeah.
bet that we have if he's gonna hit
1,000
1,000 yards or
more.
not. Yeah.
It's a good one.
He's at 1,000
yeah.
yards every year. So I'm like, statistically, I'm taking this side, but it's only a matter of, it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah. I'll win at some point.
So go
Brian Thomas, 1,200 yards.
BTJ. I'll take the over on that.
Okay.
But we're both Jags fans here. We got to hold on. We only got a
Yeah,
couple
that's
minutes
tough.
left. We'll talk about
tough.
football off the air.
Plus or minus 3 wins for your
Florida
for
State?
your Knowles.
It better be. If it's not over 3 wins, I'm
Then we're getting Dion.
we got a couple minutes here left. What outside of work, what bring and we could talk about faith in church, but what do you do for fun? What do you love doing?
Yeah. Big one is working out. Me and my
Yeah.
wife work out together, which is
Healthy.
I think super healthy. Well, physically, but then also our relationship is good quality time together. Another thing I like to do, I haven't done it often, is golfing.
Yeah.
Not good, but
Guilty.
work in progress.
Still out there.
But it's one of those games where like you have your whole life, I have my whole life to actually get decent. So I'm not.
You're
too
also
worried.
starting way earlier than I wish I did. That's one of those things. Like,
I'll get
crap.
good at some point.
Yeah.
but it's fun. I enjoy
So
it.
golf's up there. I love that. You and Avery working out together. Like you said, I look at it as a date, right? It's a
Yeah.
healthy activity.
Yeah,
So what golf, exercise.
yeah, pretty involved in the stock market. I
Okay.
like trading, investing. That's another hobby of mine. And then what else? Is that really all I do?
And then you're like questioning your
Cryptocurrency?
stuff.
No crypto.
No cryptos.
I don't trust it
Fair
quite
enough.
yet. Shout out Bill Sorensen. We just had a good lunch last week talking about crypto. I'm reading a book you recommended about Ethereum and how that whole frenzy started. So I'll keep you posted. But yeah, no crypto.
That's
enough.
one topic to hate. I'm like, I'm just so dumb. Like I can't even talk about it.
Yeah.
You've always been into the financial side, the financial space. Let's do any partners, strategic vendors, relationships. Like, man, I appreciate these people. They're great to work with. Check them out.
Yeah, I'd say one would be George Italowicz, Mutual of Omaha.
Hey,
Appreciate you, man. It's a good partner. Good dude. Michael Goldman, Healthiest You, Teladoc.
okay.
Also a great part. If you want somebody that like is the kind of epitome of sales and what it should look like, Michael's your guy. Just very
He's gonna love this clip.
Yeah, clip that up,
relationally
Opus.
driven. I mean, not salesy or pushy. Like wants to help you beyond just Teladoc. Like it just provide value
Yep.
to you as a human. And that's,
with a product that's actually valuable.
yeah,
That's the other thing.
That's really important, I think.
That's two
So
good
it's
ones.
Two good ones, yeah.
Okay. We got about a minute here left. What do you want to add? Anything we missed?
Again, if you need a broker, let me know.
Yeah.
That's it. He's over there shaking his head. I had fun. Hopefully you did. We sit next to each other all day, every day.
Yeah.
But we could have really gone off the rails. I'm impressed.
We did
didn't.
good. We
Yeah.
did really good. Football was like 2 minutes
That
max.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Good job, boys.
Danny White, 212 Benefits, incredible human. Forget professionally. Like this is just a special human being. So thanks for joining us. That's what the hell just happened.